US President Donald Trump has made a startling revelation that the controversial US federal agency USAID had allocated $21 million in India for voter turnout.
And $21 million for voter turnout in India. What do we need to spend $21 million for voter turnout in India? Wow, $21 million. I guess they were trying to get somebody else elected. Wow, we ought to tell the Indian government.
He even alleged that this $21 million, equivalent to roughly rupees 183 crore, was meant to interfere in India's elections. A day later, President Trump again accused USAID of allocating $21 million in India and called it a kickback scheme.
And $21 million for voter turnout in India. Why are we caring about India turnout? We got enough problems. We want our own turnout, don't we? Can you imagine all that money going to India? I wonder what they think when they get it. Now, it's a kickback scheme. You know, it's not like they get it and they spend. They kick it back to the people that send it, I would say, in many of these cases.
Immediately after President Trump made these statements, the Congress party and its ecosystem jumped in to deflect and deny these serious allegations. Congress leader Jairam Ramesh claimed that there is no evidence of USAID funding any project to strengthen voter turnout in India. Some media outlets carried a so-called fact check on President Trump's statements, which was then amplified on social media by Congress-friendly journalists and influencers. One can almost imagine alarm bells going off across the Congress ecosystem and every stakeholder in the ecosystem jumping into the fray to deny any wrongdoing. But a post on X by the US DOGE or Department of Government Efficiency listed the various USAID funding initiatives and the $21 million to India was clearly mentioned. What's more interesting is that the X post mentions that the money was being funneled through the Consortium for Elections and Political Process Strengthening or CEPPS. Now, what is the CEPPS? CEPPS is a coalition of NGOs dedicated to promoting democratic institutions and governance worldwide. It claims to support democratic development by collaborating with political parties, election management bodies, parliaments, civil society groups, and democracy activists. But its actual role raises serious concerns about foreign interference in elections. In India, CEPPS operates via a front called the International Foundation for Electoral Systems or IFES. In May 2012, the Election Commission of India signed an MOU with IFES in New Delhi to develop and strengthen democratic institutions and electoral processes. One of IFES's private funders is Open Society Foundations, owned by George Soros, a figure widely accused of funding anti-India activities. The fact that an organization receiving funding from Soros has had a formal agreement with the Election Commission of India before 2014 raises serious concerns about the extent of foreign influence over India's electoral processes. Another group reportedly funded by USAID is Organized Crime and Corruption Reporting Project or OCCRP, which is a global network of investigative journalists. OCCRP has regularly targeted the Adani Group and the Modi government in the past, giving opposition parties like the Congress a leverage to disrupt India's parliament proceedings. Similarly, another partner of USAID is Freedom House, a global watchdog that has consistently criticized India's democratic credentials. Year after year, Freedom House has downgraded India's status in its annual democracy rankings, shifting it from a full democracy to an electoral autocracy. These moves by USAID-funded organizations, both inside and outside India, are part of a broader attempt to plant global narratives against India and India's democratically elected Modi government, all with the goal of undermining India's legitimacy on the world stage. This pattern of funding organizations that push anti-India political agendas makes USAID dangerous. Alongside India, USAID's role in Bangladesh has also come under scrutiny. The Trump administration has revealed that USAID spent $29 million to strengthen the political landscape in Bangladesh. Questions are being raised over USAID's alleged involvement in the ousting of Sheikh Hasina's government in 2024. This USAID funding to Bangladesh was cleverly used by the Congress to deny that there was any USAID funding to India in an attempt to confuse Indians that the USAID money meant for India as claimed by BJP was actually meant for Bangladesh. The truth is that these are two separate allocations, $21 million for India and $29 million for Bangladesh. The manner in which the entire ecosystem has been activated to deny any USAID funding shrieks of a guilty conscience on their behalf. Nonetheless, the Modi government has clearly taken note of all these developments. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar raised concerns on the USAID funding revelation and said that the US federal agency was only allowed to operate in India in good faith. He also added that the Indian government is looking into these allegations. With the Biden administration out of the White House in the US and the Trump administration stopping USAID funding worldwide, the Modi government has a chance to push for actual reforms without having to look over its shoulders for groups that seek to hinder India's progress. We Indians too must remain vigilant, and we must not allow political opponents both within and outside India to jeopardize the journey that India is embarking upon under PM Modi.